Well now, we've seen quite a bit of top of the table, and obviously you have to get there. We've been through the two methods. I've mentioned that it's potting and getting to the top, dropping the white at the top, the other of course being the drop cannon. Well now, the drop cannon you cannot predict. It's a very precarious shot. It's simple enough to get a cannon, and most players, I'm sure, can recognise when a drop cannon is on, and they can probably spot fairly well for it. But the fact is that the first object ball, white, can tend to come across, and you get little covers. It comes across here and it bounces off and it covers the cue ball, and you get into all sorts of trouble. Well now, as I say, there's no hard and fast rule, and it's just a question of finding out the best way for you to play it. But there is one thing that is very, very important, and that is that you must try and learn to float the cue ball. Try to put the pace into this ball, the object white, and float this ball, the cue ball, gently down onto the red, and don't try and knock the red to the pocket. Approach the red ball with the cue ball on a line to hit the red more or less full in the face from here, so that the red goes in that direction, and it doesn't need to go any further than that. Now if you do that, you're putting a little more pace into this one, because it's got to go from there to there to there, and this one you're gently knocking on and off the cushion and leaving the cue ball here, and you're less likely to get this ball coming across and getting in front of you. Now I'll play 3 shots, and as I say, you can't predict, but I'll play one from the normal correct half ball position from the D, and let me just mention that this, obviously the red's on the spot for practice purposes. This first object white is 10 inches from the centre of the pocket there, and 15 inches from the side cushion. The cue ball is 4 inches from the centre of the D. So there we are. There is a half ball cannon onto the red. Now just let's see how it goes. I'll play with outside and just take it half ball, centre ball striking. Now you can see I am in fact covered. There's no problem in scoring, but I am covered. Now, and again, it's happened as I anticipated, that this white has come up and covered me, not entirely in this case, so it's not important, but it could well have been there, and then under tight conditions with concentration, etc., wanting to win, you have problems. So you've got to try and avoid that situation. So now, what I'm suggesting is, and this is a method again, this is brings back memories for me, because this is what Tom and Joe, they were very keen on this sort of game, and they played this to perfection. So now my suggestion is this, that if you take the second or the first object ball, the white, a little thicker, so that in fact if you play it with running side, which would be right hand side here, you would have to spot the cue ball a little nearer to the centre spot of the D. That is because a hint of right hand side on there will tend to throw this ball a little squarer to the cushion and take you across here as opposed to down here and up there. Now, if you play with check side, you can in fact come marginally closer to the furthest spot of the D, and again take this ball fractionally thicker than half ball, and you tend to push the white ball again a little further down the table, trying to avoid this cover coming up here. So I'll play one with the side, right hand side, one with left, and we'll see what happens. So there's the original position for a perfect half ball. Now I'm going to take this a fraction wider, so I've come a little nearer the centre of the D, and I'm just going to put a breath of right hand side on that and strike bang centre ball there. Now what I've done there in putting the side on, I've just pulled this cue ball off line, and I've in fact struck that half ball. So we'll play that again. And this time I will allow for the side that I'm putting on by taking the white ball a fraction thicker. And I've still moved the cue ball a little nearer the D. So now I'm just below centre, side on there. Now you see the white ball is still coming across and getting in front of me. Now, this is the point. This is the bit you want to learn. Now I'm back in the same spot. And this time I'm going to take the ball a little wider, in other words nearer the outside spot, and I'm going to take a fraction of check. So now I'm 5.5 inches from the centre spot. Now I'm going to try and float this white with a thicker contact on the first object white. Touch a check side. Now you see the difference. What I've done, I've pushed the white further down here with check side. The white has floated more, and coming further down here has brought me wider here, and I've come up there towards the spot. That is perfect. So now it's just a question of a little pot in the pocket, and there we are, that's top of the table. Now the point is, I could play those 3 or 4 shots again and would have quite, not entirely different, but there would be tricky ones. Sometimes they go right, sometimes they don't. You will begin to find the best way for you to play them, how you put side on, whether it's check or running, how you spot a little wider or a little narrower, and you experiment and you find the best way. And the more you practice, the more you can begin to apply that sort of technique according to your own ability to impart side or whatever. And you know, this is what the game is all about. It isn't the same for every player. We're all different. Well, there you are. I wish you luck.